What I like about American tourists is nothing. I'm kidding.
This is how we know you're an American tourist. Normally in Spain, we're dark-eyed, dark-haired, so when you see this stud who's tall, muscly, and probably shouting something in English, he probably is American.
Usually if you're at a Starbucks, the majority of the people there are American. Because if you're Spanish, you're just gonna go to cafe, because that's where the good coffee's at.
I think I can identify if it's an American if he or she is taking a lot of selfies.
Everybody in a restaurant puts ice into every sort of liquid drink, no matter if it's beer or especially in water.
When I'm in France, I can definitely tell you're American when you are very impressed with old buildings and you stop to admire buildings while you walk very slowly and you smile. Americans tend to smile a lot, which I personally love, but French people don't do that.
I think they're always like down to party, have fun. You see them just really, I think they're really great tourists overall.
The American tourist stereotypes would be that they have skin red as a lobster, check, true. Another stereotype would be that they come to Spain to party, ding ding ding, yes. That they come to Spain to get laid, ding ding ding. And that they come to Spain to try Spanish food. I think they run to McDonald's.
I have seen a lot of Americans act like frat boys when they visit. You see them in parks, shotgunning beers. This is a stereotype, but it's definitely true. It is also true that American tourists that are female are really in love with everything. They go everywhere in the street and they're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Oh my God, the best thing I've ever had. Oh my God, this guy is so hot. This is true.
Some stereotypes that Spaniards have about American tourists would be, I guess, the typical baseball cap wearing, loud, gum chewing, kind of oblivious to what's going on around them. I don't agree entirely with all of this. I think that more and more so, there's an awareness that's coming with other cultures and getting to know other cultures. And I think that when Americans go and travel now, it's with an open-mindedness that they didn't have before maybe, so it might be just an antiquated kind of stereotype that's no longer relevant today. Obviously, there are some things that still stick. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's this oblivious kind of entitled person that they're made out to be. That's not true.
We always assume that you guys are from LA, like always. Just like, are you from Hollywood? No. New York, Broadway. It's like, no. You're from Ohio? What? Where? Not interested.
The most stereotypical is the American that doesn't know how to dress, that drinks a lot, and that is very loud. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. And even if it's true, don't worry about it because you're just being yourself and there's nothing better than being yourself.
First thing that could probably give an American away is probably how loud they are.
Really loud.
Loud sometimes.
Really loud.
American tourists are pretty loud, but we do have Italians right next to us, so we're used to it.
One thing that I've noticed is that Americans at restaurants usually clink their glasses like super loud together and the cutlery and are just like very loud.
American tourists normally come to Spain to party. They've heard of Ibiza and sangria and tapas and all this fun stuff, so they just want to unleash for that time, and sometimes they're really loud, really blonde, really tall and attractive, and it's annoying because you can't be beautiful, tall, and loud.
It would be a little helpful if Americans could learn a few words before actually going to Italy. All the Americans assume that everyone speaks English.
It's funny that Americans think they know pizza when they actually don't, and it's even more funny when they try the real pizza for the first time and realize that it's so good, more than theirs. Please, no ketchup and no garlic sauce on your pizza. It's a big no-no.
They tend to not know what's going on in the country they are visiting.
You think that the whole world is US. Everything that is out of US you don't care about and don't know about.
One thing American tourists do in France that annoys a lot of French people, they're used to having really great service and we're not great at that in France. So they go in bars and restaurants and they have for just a cup of water and they never get it. Or they ask for their waiter and he comes like maybe 3 hours later. That people expect a really great service and they just don't really have it.
I was a waitress back in France and I knew Americans would tip a lot, so that was a really good thing. But generally, I just like the fact that American tourists are nice and they know what they're looking for. They will ask you for recommendations and they will try to start conversations with you, because I think American tourists really rely on recommendations from locals and they're not scared to come and talk to you.
What Spanish people love about American tourists is that We have seen all these movies about the American dream, so we want to ask a lot of questions, we want to practice our English, we never do, and we just want to look at your faces. Handsome guys.
Two things I really like about American tourists is that they're really friendly, like overly so. It's super cute actually, and they tip like very well.
I like about American tourists that they are very open to new things.
They can be nicer than Italians, actually.
You guys drink a lot, like we do, so we are actually very compatible. So because we're gonna have a lot of fun, and many of the times I had my greatest time in Italy was when I met Americans in Rome, just having fun, and they're awesome people to talk with. I really enjoy your vibe, your energy, and when American tourists are in my country, yes, I can spot them, but because I can spot them, I can have fun with them, and that's very enjoyable.
But you guys are fun as hell. When you go there, you're there to fully participate in everything that's going on. And I've never run into an American that you take out for the night and isn't completely on board for everything that you do. And they're incredibly social. They are very willing to have conversations and get to know you and know more about your experiences. We love the energy of American tourists. We love it.